traveled throughout the country for many years, sharing his program and reigniting the mini trampoline industry. The inventor of the tri-fold Cellerciser and portable carrying case, David more recently created and patented the new triple-tiered tapered spring, the only self-adjusting spring of its kind. David Hall's 10-minute-per-day program has been seen by hundreds of thousands worldwide. It's been written about in books and magazines. He's been on numerous radio and TV programs throughout the world. He works with universities, doctors, health practitioners, celebrities, professional athletes, Fortune 500 companies, and special forces groups. If you're watching this TV because you're interested in health and fitness, or someone who cares about you is interested in yours. As of 2008, David is 52 years of age, and he's revolutionizing exercise. He doesn't lift weights. He'll explain to you why you don't need to lift weight away from gravity when you can increase the weight of gravity. It is my privilege to introduce David Hall and his program, Cellercising.
How many people know about Cellercising? Woohoo! All right. Is there anybody that doesn't? Anybody not familiar with Cellercising? Okay, how many have heard my presentation before? Okay, that's the majority of you. How many have not? Okay, there's just a few. Okay. How many are presently involved in some kind of a health and fitness program right now? Okay, what do you want to accomplish? With the Cellerciser. Okay. What is it that you want to accomplish in your own physical health? I'd love to get some ideas. Yeah.
I think overall lose weight, but my husband just had a leg amputation.
Okay.
And we're using the Cellerciser with his good leg and watching it and looking for some guidance to get the circulation going so he doesn't lose the other leg that's working so far.
Thank you. It does wonders for circulation. Who else has something? What do you want to accomplish in your own physical health?
Well, as I'm getting older, I want to be strong. I want to be able to, well, I may sound a little doomsday-ish, but I think things could get a little tougher for us than they are now. And I don't want to be dependent on anybody else. I want to be able to be strong.
Okay, she brought up a good point. She said she feels like she's getting older and wants to be stronger. Is there any, and I've said this many times, is there anybody here over 7 years old? Okay, listen carefully to the question. Is there anybody here over 7 years old? Really, there isn't. Cells don't get old. They're always replacing themselves. And some parts of the body they've been replaced many times over within that 7-year period. The good news is that we can strengthen and improve the efficiency of our cells at any age. And when we strengthen and improve the efficiency of our cells, we automatically begin to strengthen and improve the efficiency of our body parts and functions. And we're going to talk about some of the testimonials. What do you want to accomplish in your own physical health?
Live to be 100. Still tall.
Live to be 100, still be in good shape?
Yeah.
Okay, how many want to do that? You know, don't we all? Yeah. Okay, you. Who else has something they want to accomplish in your own physical health? I'm going to read to you a few testimonials, and I'd like you to listen to these because these are people that, thank you. These are people that have had profound changes in their life experience and in their own personal health since utilizing the Cellerciser. Some of these you may have heard, some of these are new. But this lady here is Camille, and she says, "Thank you, David." She's a UPS driver, and she lifts all these boxes and works with UPS. She says, "Thank you, David. A valve in my heart went bad, and I was seeing a cardiologist. I had to have several tests done as the valve worsened. A nuclear test was performed, and I was at 52%. I was so weak and achy. It was hard to do my job at UPS, unloading trucks and working. But one day a gentleman picked up a package and inspected it at my office. It was one of your units. I was so impressed I got one. I jumped to save my life, and I certainly did not want open heart surgery to replace my valve. Didn't have time for that. I am blessed and happy to say that after Cellercising for several months, another nuclear test was performed. I was at 70%. My cardiologist asked what I was doing. I was just using your program. That was the only thing I was doing differently, exclamation point. She said 70 was the low end of normal range, and I didn't need surgery anymore. I have continued to use your program. If I stop, I do find my heart weakens again, along with several other symptoms of poor circulation. So I use your program to keep my heart strong and my feet pain-free. I continue to work at UPS and have gotten a second job too. People are always commenting on my spirit, energy, and youthfulness. I'm 52 but look younger. I'm so very thankful to God for directing me to your unit and for His leading you to do what you have done. I know you were sick after a while, and that illness prompted you to begin your journey with your program. He truly does everything together for good. I tell everyone I can about your program and your Cellerciser. Again, thank you so much. May God keep blessing you. Camille Sullivan. As I'm reading these, I want you to think in terms of somebody that you know that has knee problems, back problems, digestion elimination problems, shoulder problems, weight loss issues, stress and tension, have headaches, balance and equilibrium issues. I'll intervene some of these with some personal stories. I had a lady call me up. I was at the office, and she was telling me about her program, or about my program. She'd been on it for 3.5 weeks, and she called up to brag that she was on top of her rooftop repairing her own shingles, and she was 91 years of age. Yeah, is anybody here born with balance? No, we think it has something to do with age. It's a physiological function. We can improve it at any age, we can lose it at any age. When we continue to challenge it, we continue to improve and maintain it. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. This one is from CC. I only put her initials down. To David Hall, I'm so happy to be part of the, we call it Cellercise, so all of you, you've known about that. Cellercise family. She says, I'm happy to share my testimony. I pray it will help someone. On December 15th, I prayed to God, knowing that He would be the only one who could help my health. I prayed that if He wanted to take me home, to do it now. If not, He needed to help me get well, for I felt I was going to die. My health was very bad. I had asthma, and that was the worst of all. I also had a high blood pressure, a very fast pulse due to the medication, and I was overweight. I could no longer function well, and I was very weak and constantly short of breath. After a year leave of absence, I had to take an early retirement. I could no longer do my job. I was on 13 prescription medications daily, not getting well, but worse. On December 16th, I began using a Cellerciser. At this time, I could hardly walk. I was so sick. I was on my third prescription in a row of a strong dose of prednisone, but it was not helping. I could hardly catch my breath. I did that baby bounce or health bounce for about 3 to 5 minutes. My lungs began to open up, and I could only then begin to clear them and begin to get better. This was a new beginning. Praise the Lord, I have gotten better and better ever since. I'm down from 13 prescription meds to 5. My blood pressure is normal, and I've lost 45 pounds in 6 months. I have a 4-year-old grandson whom I was not able to pick up and hold for 2.5 years without an asthma flare-up or with strain. I can easily pick him up and hold him now. He weighs 50 pounds. When I first picked him up, he said, "Look, Mom, Grandma is better. I can play outdoors and go places with him now and keep up with him. I am enjoying this summer for this first time in 4 years. I thank God and I thank you, David, for Cellercise. Praise God, I have my life back and better than ever before." Couple more. I've been using the Cellerciser for a month, mostly 6 days out of the week for 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes less. I think it realigned my colon. And colon, that's real important. Digestion and elimination problems are critical. We're going to address those too. Now I can go to the bathroom and I have complete evacuation. Sorry guys, but this is life. Before Cellercise, BC, I would be lucky if I could go to the bathroom twice and still have a complete evacuation. I'm sure the Cellerciser is helping me improve all systems. I think the Cellerciser realigned my colon again, she says, where water enema therapies cannot do so well. There's one more. Oh, let's do this one. Okay. I mentioned I would drop you a note concerning my daughter's experience with the Cellerciser. I have become a strong believer in the benefits of Cellercising that some time ago I decided to begin giving a Cellerciser as a wedding gift to my nephews and nieces as they got married. My own daughter Stephanie, whose wedding 3 years ago preceded my change in wedding gift policy, received hers as a Christmas present. 18 months later, she and her husband Scott became the parents of my first grandchild, Madison. Throughout the pregnancy, Steph Cellercised regularly. It came as no surprise to me then that when the blessed moment arrived, it came in a hurry. If you weren't already in the hospital when she arrived by 11:58 a.m., confirmed by Scott's parking garage receipt, you certainly weren't going to witness the joy of Maddie's arrival 13 minutes later. We have this a lot. This is a movement that you will see creates an enormous amount of balance, flexibility, and circulation to all body parts and functions every day. So the body responds very quickly. My own wife, we got to the hospital, the baby was born. We barely made it in time. This is not unusual. Although I'm sure the labor of childbirth is the prototypical and exquisite labor of love, I still figure 13 minutes is about right, certainly for my daughter. I've heard over the years about an awful lot of 8 or 15 or even 24-hour labors that made me mighty glad I'm a guy. I could never do that. And I suspect a lot of other young mothers, if they thought they could influence it, would opt for the short course labor too. It says it's awfully difficult to assign exclusive credit to the Cellerciser for this most welcome pregnancy outcome because Steph, a physical therapist, took good care of herself generally. However, it is easy to see how she and the baby prepared together, literally, for their special moment by toning their every muscle, every cell in harmony throughout the pregnancy. And as I say, I'm just happy for the outcome, and I'm confident that expectant mothers everywhere can enjoy undreamed of results from their pregnancies if they just get it together on the Cellerciser. Kind regards, Harold. Well, this is me in 1990. I'm going to pass it around, and you're welcome to take a look at it. That was my daughter before when she was in high school. I was an insurance agent with Mass Mutual. I had a little double chin at one point. You don't see it so much in that picture because I just began Cellercising. But look at my back. Look at my posture. I had a little stomach. I was average looking insurance agent. I had also been poisoned with the asbestos and pesticide poisoning. It wipes out my right side of the lymphatic system. My liver was shot. I had large lesions on my neck, my shoulders, my face. Didn't know if I'd be around much longer. I had 2 children, a third on the way. And I needed something. And so I started a program. I put together my own program to help open up the lymphatic and circulatory systems. I believed if I could live long enough that my body would have an opportunity to heal itself. Well, in about 3 months of Cellercising, my insurance clientele began asking me, David, what are you doing? So I started teaching them. I was standing erect, my stomach was flat, my energy level was soared. It had happened in a relatively short period of time. I began sharing it with them. They started getting results. I was invited to speak before Rotary clubs, Lions, Kiwanis Senior Citizen Centers. I did that for about 3 years, woke up one day and said, why am I selling insurance? And so I took it out on the road and literally reignited an industry. When I began Cellercising, there was something called Rebounders. You may have heard of them, mini trampolines, Rebounders. They were all over the market. And we're going to talk a little bit about them because Rebounders can be dangerous, especially those ones that use little tube springs. My dad was permanently disabled on a typical Rebounder in 1995, attempting to do my exercises. So I introduced a whole different design, and that has swept the world, literally. I don't do any weightlifting. I'm not a bodybuilder, so I don't have a lot of muscles. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. But every area you see on my body is still firm, it's tight. I'll be 58 this year, and it doesn't, but I can do the things that I was doing.
Oh, you got to do it again. She turned her head.
Okay, show better. Show better.
Take it off.
Come on.
Just
I'd like to start my video.
Yeah, you wouldn't have any trouble.
But you call nurse porn.
Another thing, hogging of the artery is the #1 degenerative disease. We begin to have a hard time with memory and body function because of that problem. We're going to talk about how to open up blood vessels and increase circulation too, which is critical for good health. But for me to stand, I'll tell you a little story. I had a yoga instructor who'd been on the Cellerciser for 6 months come up and tell me, she said, David, I've grown more in strength and flexibility in 6 months in your program than I have in 20 years as a yoga instructor. I didn't know anything about yoga at the time, but I remembered her comment. I was in Austin, Texas a few years later, and another yoga instructor came by, and I mentioned it to her, and she said, I don't believe you. And she took offense, and I said, it's just what she told me. She said, okay, well, then can you take your hand? And she commenced to challenge me. And I don't know what a lot of this means, and I can't come close to what the yoga people did, but we were there, and she said, can you take your hand, put it over your head, put it behind the ball of your right foot like this, and stand there like that. She said, like this. Yeah, I said, yeah, I can do that. I don't know what that means, but she said, okay, can you take your hand, put it on the inside of your left foot, with your right foot over your head? And she said, I said, like this? And she said, yeah. I said, yeah, I can do that. And then she gave me another one, but she wouldn't do it. And we were on a cement floor. She said, can you touch your knee to the ground and stand up again? I said, I don't know how to try that. She said, yeah, just go down and touch your knee to the ground. Stand up.
Stand up, you gotta see this.
Okay, so I went down, touched your knee to the ground. Oh, yeah, I can. I said, okay, I can do that. I said, okay, my turn. I said, can you take your leg? And I want you to, stick it out in front of you. I want you to sit down, just like that, and then stand up again, like that. She couldn't do it. She ended up getting a Cellercising. Since we're all made up of cells, about 75 trillion of them, doesn't it stand to reason that if each one of your individual cells were stronger, healthier, and working more efficiently, that your body parts and functions would also be stronger, healthier, and working more efficiently? Does that make any sense? Okay, what I'm going to share with you today is not science fiction. This is science fact. But this is not the exercise of the past. Literally. I call it the exercise of the future made available today, or exercise at the cellular level. We're all familiar with exercise at the muscular level, aren't we? We have been taught for years to buy into the idea of no pain, no gain. You got to tear down to build up. Doesn't necessarily build a healthy muscle, by the way. You got to do 20 minutes of aerobics to get a good aerobic activity, as if your cell's head watches. 20 minutes doesn't mean anything to a cell. It's how the cells are challenged within that amount of time that makes a difference. You got to sweat to get a good exercise. You've heard that. Well, sweating has nothing to do with exercise. It just means your body's overheating and it has to cool itself down. You don't have to exercise to get a good exercise program. Although, if you're overheating, you'll want to. We have been inundated with the idea you got to tear down and build up. You got to do it every other day. You got to work all these different muscle groups and body parts. You've got to buy all these different types of exercise equipment. We've seen them. We've heard about them. Wedges, abdominal boards, rollers, ski toners, porta bikes, fitness climbers, stairmasters, health riders, Nordic track, Schwinn, airlines, life cycle, life force, stomach crunches, thigh masters, ab blasters, solo flex, treadmill cyclones, body gyms, total gyms, dorsal equivalents, world flex, this else. The list goes on and on. And as long as we buy into that methodology, we can rest assured every 6 months or so, the fitness industry is going to find another way of packaging another piece of exercise equipment just a little differently to motivate you to add to your ongoing collection. Because frankly, that's how they make their money. And yet the principle upon which every single piece of exercise equipment is based is exactly the same. They all work by applying weight or stress to a certain part, function, or muscle group over and over until they adapt by becoming strong. And all those muscles are made up of what? Cells. So anytime you apply weight to a muscle, you're causing the cells of that muscle tissue to expand and contract with more weight or stress against the cell membrane. In response, all the cell's going to do is fortify its membrane with more protein because it doesn't want to rupture. Do you think the cells care where the weight comes from or how sophisticated the equipment is? No. Thank you. Suppose there was one exercise which instead of lifting weight away from gravity, which limits the effect of the muscle doing the lifting, what if instead of lifting weight away from gravity, you can increase the weight of gravity on every single muscle, every single cell of your body over 100 times a minute, strengthening all your muscles all at the same time? But it would go well beyond that. It would reduce body fat. 75 trillion cells flexing instead of a few muscle groups. Firm your legs, thighs, hips, and buttocks. Strengthen your arms. Increase agility. Improve balance. Rhythm, timing, dexterity, hand-eye coordination. Provide an aerobic activity for your cardiovascular system. Rejuvenate your body when you're tired, but it goes well beyond that. This is a program being featured more and more now in health magazines, books, and articles as being effective in helping to lower high blood pressure, helping to lower elevated cholesterol and triglyceride levels, that stimulates the thyroid, the adrenals, and the endocrine system, helps to detoxify the liver, improve kidney circulation, digestion, elimination processes, increases oxygen blood flow to the brain, is being used by a number of ophthalmologists today to help revitalize vision. But it goes beyond that. It's the only program that I believe can claim to be and isometric for toning, but it doesn't just tone from the outside in. It tones from the inside out. When muscles get weak, they begin to sag, right? What happens to the internal organs of our body as we get older? Yeah, they start to drop too. And we think that has something to do with age. A lady wrote me a beautiful testimonial. She said, David, as I was hitting midlife, I felt like everything was headed south. She says, now that I've been cellercising, I feel like everything's headed north again. So this helps to lift, tighten, tone, and strengthen the connective tissue surrounding the internal organs. One of the reasons boxers do a lot of jump roping. Isometric, isotonic for tone, for building muscle mass and bone density. It's weight bearing but without the jar. It's calisthenic for targeting. I'm going to show you how to target thighs, knees, hips, waist, buttocks, stomach, arms, even underneath the chin if you want. It's aerobic for conditioning, and it's a flexibility program without ever having to stretch. This is a program that can be done in 10 minutes a day, the whole thing, everything. 10 minutes a day in the convenience of your own home, at the office, or while you're traveling. You don't have to change your clothes or break out into a sweat in order to enjoy its benefits. How's that sound? Too good to be true? Yeah. It would be too good to be true if we were talking about the current methodology of exercise, but we're not. We're talking literally about a whole different methodology of exercise, a program I've been teaching for over 25 years. Can I have everybody say exercise?
Exercise.
Now say cellercise.
Cellercise.
Okay, with cellercise, you're never going to have to exercise the same way again. A basic understanding of how all exercise affects the body will help us to better understand cellercise. I'd like to propose that the common denominator of all exercise is opposing the gravitational pull of the earth or creating some sort of a resistance. Let's examine the statement. If I were to lie down and do push-ups, what is the force that I have to push away from to lift my body up? Gravity. If I'm doing leg lifts, sit-ups, pull-ups, same thing. If I take my center of balance, which is located right about here, we can apply it to the accepted aerobic activities of walking, jogging, and running. I take that center of balance and I move it forward. The force of gravity causes me to take it forward, or I land on my nose. We can apply the concept of weightlifting. Weightlifting is simply taking a mass of something and moving away from gravity over and over. Now again, as far as the body is concerned, does it care how sophisticated the equipment is? It doesn't matter whether it's connected with pulleys, fulcrums, wheels, arms, cables, chains, or rubber bands. At the end of the cable, the chain, of the rubber band, you still have the weight or the resistance. And it is simply weight or resistance on the cells that causes the muscles, bones to get stronger and healthier. All right, the key to cellercise was given to us as early as 1911 by Albert Einstein. He observed that the human body cannot tell the difference between the forces of acceleration, deceleration, and gravity. So we understand the force of gravity. Let's consider a moment the forces of acceleration and deceleration. And let's admit these forces do exist and they have the same effect on virtually any body. Anybody here have a sports car?
I wish.
You wish? Okay. Ever been in one? Okay. They hit, there you go. When you hit the accelerator, you feel the weight of acceleration pushing your body back in the seat, right? That's weight on the body. When you come around the corner, you see the deer in front of you, you hit the brake or the decelerator, you feel the weight of deceleration pushing your body forward into the seat belt. Those forces are very obvious. But for whatever reason, the fitness industry has never harnessed them before. And the only thing I can figure out is probably due to the fact we generally experience the forces of acceleration and deceleration horizontally, whereas we experience the force of gravity vertically. And most of us aren't going to be going around town hitting the gas and the brake in order to create this weight-bearing activity on us. But what if we could line the forces of acceleration and deceleration up with gravity and literally combine three forces working on the body instead of just one? We would have a whole new methodology of exercise. All we would need is a piece of equipment that would allow us to harness those forces. Guess what? We got it. I call this my portable gym. Notice it is extremely portable. It's designed for that purpose. When I was traveling all around the world teaching and promoting this methodology of exercise, I didn't have a unit that I could take in the overhead luggage bin of commercial airlines. So that was part of what prompted this. This has got a unique history. I'm not going to go into great detail, but I will say that when I entered the industry, virtually everybody out there was utilizing what they call rebounders or mini trampolines that use little tube springs just like this. This is when I entered the industry. These little tube springs never mirrored NASA's research. We'll talk about that in a moment. What they did is they would stretch a little bit And have anybody ever been on one of these? They stretch it a little bit, and then they come to an abrupt stop or jar at the bottom of the stretch. It's so severe it could break the spring. It could also damage the person using it. That's how my dad was permanently disabled in 1995. The same year, Dr. Morton Walker came out and warned doctors to avoid these. He said the abrupt jarring effect was the same as landing on the ground. So I introduced the tapered spring design in the early 90s. And you notice a little bit of a difference. It's a larger diameter in the middle and it tapers at the end. The objective was to create acceleration and deceleration, but without jar. Well, no sooner had I done this that everybody else starts coming out with tapered spring designs. And to look at them, it looked the same until you stood on them. When the steel in the spring is too weak, you sink in the middle of the mat. The feet can pronate. With the lack of support, you're not getting the lift or the acceleration deceleration effect, so you're not getting the benefit. So I had to separate myself from the industry. And I then patented and created the trifold or triflex spring. And you look at this one, it's a little different than this one. It tapers, it has a ridge right here, and then tapers, and then another ridge and tapers. That ridge helps to focus the weight toward the center of the spring. It's a much better feel. If you weigh 100 pounds, you only need the center portion of the spring. That's what you're going to be focused toward. If you weigh more or you're jumping higher and you need more spring, then it graduates to the next ridge and the next tier, giving you the ability to decelerate and accelerate without ever coming to an abrupt stop or jar. And that's what we offer at Q Sciences. All right, let me open up the Cellerciser. Real simple. Grab the unit. This is what it looks like. Oh, it's been through a lot worse than that. This is about 9 years old. This unit, that's my personal unit. To open it, it's real simple. You just put it on the ground, open it up like a taco, pop open the taco. Literally, in less time than it takes me to put on a pair of running shoes, I'm ready to begin. Cellerciser. It's that simple. Now, many people mistakenly believe they can pick up something like this at the Sears, Kmart, or sporting goods store. Unfortunately, nothing could be further from the truth, and it's important you do understand why. Number one, this mat material, this is not made out of the canvas, not under plastics that you can find on typical rebounders or mini trampolines. Canvas, not under plastics, look the same until you step on them. When the mat material stretches with the spring, then your feet are not well supported, so they pronate every time you land. If you do different movements, the way I'm going to show you, if your foot rolls on you because the mat's not supporting you, then that can cause some serious ankle or knee problems or even hip or back problems. So we use a special material that's made in the United States. It's a polypropylene where every fiber is put under nearly 200 tons of pressure. It's extremely dense. Space age. You leave it out in the sun, the rain, the snow. It doesn't matter. It's weather resistant. They make swimming pool covers out of this now because it's UV resistant. I use it because you can't stretch it out. You jump up and down on it, it moves with your feet, and it supports you. It's the only unit out there that helps resist the pronation of the feet. The springs do not connect directly into the frame, so we never wear the frame out. We drill 36 holes through the frame, put steel pins to the holes, and connect the springs to the pins. The frame will last virtually forever. Even the rubber tips aren't rubber, they're polymer. We've never worn one out. The legs don't screw on because anything that screws on can also get screwed off or lost or stuck. These fit over a steel post. They're held in place by heavy-duty piano wire, one of the best wires you can get. There's other features on it that make it unique, but I'm ready to begin sharing with you Cellercise. I just need to change into my Cellercise outfit. So, okay. All right. As I stand here, I weigh approximately 160 pounds with the weight of gravity. As I start to move just this high, a remarkable thing happens. I no longer weigh 160 pounds at the bottom of the bounce. I now weigh closer to 200 pounds, or 1.25 Gs. We can measure that with a G meter. Do you know what a G meter is? Many of you may have one in your own home. You get up in the morning, walk into the bathroom, step on it, look down at the needle, and some of you may even call it by name. Oh, gee. That's a G meter. Okay. Well, if I were to take that G meter or bathroom scale, put it on the Cellerciser, and then jump up and down on it, what would happen to the needle on the scale?
200.
Yeah, it would fluctuate. Registering exactly right. The greatest amount of weight at the bottom of the mouse. Well, we know that 160 pounds comes from the weight of gravity. So where is the other 25% of additional weight that I am putting on this entire body? Where's that additional weight coming from?
Acceleration.
Thank you. You're right. The forces of acceleration and deceleration. See, as I jump up and come down, I load the springs. That's known as the force of deceleration. The loaded springs now absorb that energy and push me back up. That's known as the force of acceleration. Whenever you add the forces of acceleration and deceleration on the same vertical plane as gravity, you end up creating an entirely new G-force that all the cells of your body are constantly being exposed to. So the question then becomes, well, what happens to the cells of your body when you alter or change the G-force? And part of that was illustrated very nicely by NASA, who discovered that when the astronauts are in outer space for 2 weeks, they can lose up to 15% of their bone and muscle mass, simply because they do not have the weight of gravity to contend with. They're weightless. When they're up there for 2 to 3 months and they come down, you'll notice that they're not even allowed to stand up. They're helped out with the stretcher because the whole body's atrophy. Well, NASA didn't have time to build their bodies back up by applying weight to all these various different muscle groups and body parts like the general public does. They had to find a way to increase a weight-bearing exercise that was on the entire body, muscular and skeletal systems. They did their research in the trampolines in the late 1970s. It was their research that led to the development and inspired me to create the Cellerciser. Even doctors know bones and muscles heal faster and grow stronger when exposed to some stress. That's the idea behind the walking cast. Well, as I stand here on the Cellerciser and I start to move up and down, how many cells of my body are moving up and down with me? All 75 trillion. Which means, as I put weight on this body over and over, what are the cells going to have to do to compensate for the amount of weight that I keep putting on them? Yeah, it's so simple. Get stronger. Tell me, do they have a choice? No. Isn't that exciting? I'm either going to get shorter and shorter, I won't, or my body's going to have to adapt by getting stronger and stronger. The physiological implications of the G-forces created on the body, the movement up and down, how it opens up circulatory channels, stimulates brain activity, vestibular balance, stimulates the thyroid, the adrenals, the endocrine system, detoxifies. It would take me hours to go through. We don't have time for all of that, but what I would like to do is share with you a few of the basic exercises that we can begin with right away. And yes?
Real quick question.
Go ahead.
I had a hip joint replacement operation just a month and a half ago.
Oh, yes.
Would this help stimulate the bone to build it around the prosthetic implant?
Can we hold that? Because I want to answer that, but let's hold.
Okay.
Let me come back to it because that's a great activity. And when you have appliances put in, whether it's hip or knee, there is an issue with osteoplastic activity around the appliance. And so let me come back and share that with you in just a moment. Okay, the first exercise I'm going to share with you is what I call cell aerobics. There's nothing magic about the term aerobics. It simply means that all the cells of your body need oxygen in order to convert nutrients into energy. They receive the oxygen from the oxygen delivery system, which we call the cardiovascular pulmonary circulatory system. It's made up of your heart, lungs, arteries, capillaries, and veins. So an aerobic exercise is virtually any activity that stimulates the system to more efficient oxygen delivery. Now, most of us know that walking is as good an aerobic exercise as running. It just takes longer. But would this right here be considered a good aerobic exercise? Yeah, I'm not even taking my feet up off the mat. I can hold on to a balance bar that we have and do the same thing. The hips are allowed to drop down into the mat, so you're not hitting against a hard surface like you do when you walk. So you start to loosen up the lower lumbar. How about this? Does this qualify? So even if I were blind, I could get all the exercise I needed without running into anything or anybody. And if you wanted to train for a special athletic event, well, there's nothing to stop you from doing it like this. You do that for a few minutes, you'll have steam coming out of your eyeballs. It's a vigorous aerobic activity. But I left a few things out, such as barking, biting dogs, rain puddles, potholes, carbon monoxide poisoning, curbs and mailboxes, and rollerbladers that jump out of nowhere. A study conducted at the University of Utah concluded that trampolining helped to eliminate as much as 7/8 of the ballistic impact to your skeletal system compared to running on a hard surface. So we've also helped to reduce or eliminate the concerns of ankle problems, knee problems, shin splints, and lower back problems. And we've replaced some of the negatives of aerobic activity with some of the more comfortable elements, such as being at home with the family, with the radio on, television, air conditioning or heater, or simply a lock on the door for safety and privacy. And notice, one size fits all feet. So if you're not using it, your spouse can. If they're not, your children can. And if they're not using it, grandma and grandpa can. How many people need aerobic activity in their day-to-day lives?
Everybody.
We all do. How many people need the jar of hitting a hard surface?
Nobody.
Nobody. It's cumulative, and the damaging effects can be very serious later in life. Okay, the next exercise is what I call the mighty bounce for building up muscle mass and bone density. We generally think of a strength exercise as a muscular activity. For example, if I want to build up the bicep, I do curls with a certain amount of weight. I do a certain number of repetitions. For a certain period of time, I reach a plateau. Then I increase the weight. I maintain the repetition, and the muscle gets bigger and stronger, doesn't it? Okay, but keep in mind, when you tear down to build up, they tell you to do it every other day because the body literally has to heal itself. It puts it under an enormous amount of stress and creates acids. You can lose flexibility, timing, speed, coordination. You will never see any other species of animal out there pumping weights, doing pull-ups or push-ups, or tearing down to build up. We've learned beautifully how to manipulate the body. It's more of a sport than it is as far as exercise or a health program. If you look at it, the muscles on a cat or a dog, when they're lying down, have you ever felt? You might want to do this sometime. Feel their muscles. They're very, 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 very soft. You can almost push into their bones. And yet, are they strong? They're very strong. Do we have any doctors here? Health practitioners? Massage therapists?
Question about the darn old cat. Cat walls around all day, and yet he can sit there and see when he's going to jump up on the counter. How does he have that strength? Is it good for that?
Yeah, because they do get some exercise. I sit behind a desk all day long. And I'm on the phone all day long, talking with my customer base. I do a 10-minute a day program. That's it. Have you felt my muscles before? Have you? Who hasn't felt my muscles? Okay. All right.
I haven't.
You haven't? You haven't? Okay.
I haven't.
You have?
No.
You have? Okay. I want you to take your fingers. I want you to feel the quality of that muscle. Really squeeze it hard.
Pretty soft.
Is that you're not going to feel a muscle like that for somebody who tears down to build up? You said you want to build. Go ahead. I want you to build this one. Go ahead. Just feed it. Isn't that weird? Oh, isn't that weird? Okay, now I don't want you to be traumatized, so feel it now. That feel better? Oh, okay. Go feel it now. Now it's a nice, healthy muscle.
I would just like to tell you something.
Sure.
Because when I was in college, I dated a bodybuilder.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, he was not fun to cuddle with.
He
He was hard. He was just hard everywhere. And he left town for a few months and came back and had not been working out. And
Yeah.
it was a lot nicer
Yeah.
to have his arm around me.
That's right.
So they do, and they build those muscles. They are just like rock. Even when they're relaxed, they're not soft. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's become a sport, and a lot of people bought into it and do it, but you don't need to do that. In fact, with Cellercise, you don't tear down to build up at all. You can do it every day, several times a day if you want. But let me show you how that works. When you're Cellercising, and since I'm moving up and down, every cell of my body is moving up and down with me. They're all being exposed to an increase of weight every time I come down to the bottom. So if I wanted to increase the weight to this body while Cellercising, so the muscles would get stronger, bigger, connective tissues, bones, etc. How could I increase the weight on this body to help the body grow stronger?
Jump higher.
Oh, somebody got that. Just jump higher, you're right. See, the higher I jump, the faster I come down. The faster I come down, the more I load the springs. The more I load the springs, the greater the force of deceleration. The greater the force of deceleration, the greater the force of acceleration. You add the increased deceleration with the increased acceleration all over the bottom of the bounce, you have a whole new G-force. I'm going to repeat that. But suffice it to say, at that height, weigh nearly 2 Gs. That's twice the gravitational pull of the Earth. That means every single cell has got to adapt by becoming that much stronger, because if it did not, eventually we get that much shorter. But you get the general idea. You see, all of the strength exercises just work the muscles. and generally only one muscle group at a time. And while it is important to have strong and healthy muscles, isn't it also important to have strong and healthy connective tissues? Ligaments, tendons, bones, skin? How do you get a skin cell to do a push-up? You have to put it under weight. How do you do that? You Cellercise. Had a lady called me up, she said, David, I saved $7,000 on the Facebook. Doing a technique I'm going to show you in a minute on the Cellercise. Okay, I'm going to save you the best for last. It's great to have strong muscles, wonderful to have endurance, but most importantly, have our health, isn't it? Yeah, when we have our health, we can pursue our wealth, and we can enjoy it. But when we lose our health, we'll expense our wealth trying to get our health back again. We've all known people in that position. That's why I believe why you're here tonight, and what I can share with you right now is the most important message I believe I'm giving. And I learned about it through children. Anywhere in the world, when a baby first stands up in a crib, you'll notice that they have a tendency to hold onto the bar, and what do? Yeah, they jump. It's universal. Tell me, does it end in the crib? No, they get out of the crib, they graduate. Now what do they jump on? Bed. Yes, the bed or the couch. And what do? Yeah, we take them off. I tell people we knew better, not only would we encourage them to do it, we'd be up there doing it with them. See, they're improving their balance, rhythm, timing, dexterity, hand-eye coordination, the ability to learn faster. But it doesn't just apply to children. It applies to adults as well. Because of physiological functions. We have to keep challenging them to maintain them. What we do, we take children off the couch or the bed, they begin to dance. And have you ever noticed how young people dance? They're bouncing up and down off the walls, let alone the ground, aren't they? Yeah. But we get to a certain age in our culture, and what happens? We stop bouncing up and down. We begin to live a horizontal existence. And we do it day after day. Even our dance becomes horizontal. And we do this day after day, year after year, with gravity always pulling down. We stop putting weight on the internal organs, connective tissues surrounding them. So what ends up happening is they get weak. And everything starts to fall. That's one of the advantages of the Cellerciser. As we're moving up and down, we're challenging. It's weight bearing. It's helping the body to lift, tighten, and tone, become more resistant to the weight, as well as improve our balance at any age. Okay, there's another reason that's so important. I mentioned earlier, hardening of the arteries is the #1 degenerative disease. Would we want to know how to help prevent that, or even reverse it? Well, can everybody see the vein right here? Okay, if I flex the arm, it just sits there. It's not doing anything. If I hit it, it doesn't do anything, or lift, or whatever. If I walk around, yeah, it doesn't do anything. That's your normal day-to-day activity right there. But the moment that I get on a Cellerciser, and I start to move up and down, I want you to watch that. Can you see that pumping now? Yeah. It's back flushing the valves to help clean the valves, keep them healthier. And the pressure changes are causing those blood vessels and capillaries to open up and increase circulation to all extremities and all areas of the body. Critical for good health. So there's another reason that's so important. And that has to do with the pressure changes not just occurring here, but within the lymphatic system, which is also a circulatory system. See, your lymphatic system is a circulatory system, not a closed circuit, but more of an open circuit. It works its way from the extremities of the body and toward the larger lymph vessels. Kind of like the branches of an oak tree working their way backwards. Well, the terminals begin toes and fingertips. They work their way to and other extremities and work their way up to small lymph vessels, toward larger lymph vessels, toward the lymph nodes, where the lymphatic fluid is clean, and then larger lymph vessels carry the lymphatic fluid back up toward what's called the thoracic duct, the trunk of the oak tree, if you will, and into, that's your largest lymph vessel, and into the venous cava area through what's called the subclavian left vein, or root, and back into the bloodstream. There's nearly 3 times as much lymphatic fluid in your body as there is blood. So virtually all the cells of your body are surrounded by this fluid. When the lymphatic system is circulating properly, it has the ability to flush or suck out toxins, poisons, metabolic waste that accumulate within the body, which lead to stress, distress, breakdown in communication, poor health, pre-aging, degenerative diseases, even death. Everybody know what a lymphocyte is? Everybody know who Captain America is? Okay, good. Well, your lymphocytes are kind of like your Captain Americas. They're representative of the 1% of the cells of your body devoted to your civil defense. They are devoted to keeping you alive and healthy. The lymphocytes utilize the lymphatic system to move throughout your body, seeking out and destroying viruses, germs, bacteria, fungus, dead cells, mutant cells, cancerous cells, and other foreign invaders. Dr. Arthur C. Guyton, in his book Medical Physiology, MD, wrote, and that's the standard book, most hospitals and universities still use this. He pointed out that if the lymphatic system were to stop circulating for just 24 hours, we wouldn't be here. We'd all be dead. Remember the Indians? You heard stories when they were ready to retire, they go park themselves in front of a tree and just sit. Well, the lack of movement causes proteins to build up in the body, and pretty soon they just pass on. It's a very peaceful way to go. Lymphatic system's not circulating well. Well, according to a number of doctors and lymphologists, if the lymphatic system is circulating as well as it potentially can, it's almost impossible to get sick. Well, irrespective, I think we can agree it's very, very important to have good lymphatic circulation. Or lymphatic pump. And I thought that was interesting. I was in California one year and the term lymphatic pump came up and I thought that's rather interesting. Anybody know what the lymphatic pump is? If the lymphatic system needs to circulate effectively to keep me alive and healthy, where's the source of its circulation? Where's the pump? Anybody know?
Muscles.
I think it's in
muscles.
Two places.
Where?
Yeah, it's in the muscles as they contract, it pumps it, but you've also got a Venturi effect as the superior vena cava dumps into the bloodstream. The faster that passes, the more it draws the lymph in.
Yep.
It's a negative pressure in the lymph system.
That's exactly, he's right. There's a negative pressure in the lymphatic system. We're going to come back to that, which is good. But the muscles are not the pump for the lymphatic system. Your breathing is not the pump for the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It is dependent upon pressure changes to cause one-way valves to open and shut and suck, which is exactly right. Movement, muscles, breathing causes some lymphatic circulation. Well, when you appreciate how dependent the lymphatic system is on pressure changes to occur to be efficient, you begin to appreciate the dynamics of the Cellerciser. See, the moment I get on this and I start to move up and down, so does all the fluid in the body. The muscles, the cells. The lymphatic system does hold a negative pressure. Within just a few minutes of this gentle movement up and down, I create a circuit of movement working through the entire body, a vacuum system pulling circulation between bones and joints and tissue spaces of the body, literally vacuuming out the internal environment of the body. When I wake up in the morning, generally, depending on how I slept that night or what I ate, I'll notice a little puffiness around the eyes. Okay, I'll get on the Cellerciser. I'll start to move up and down for about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. If I look in front of the mirror again, the puffiness is gone. Because the movement, when you lay down at night, your body and the fluid in your body tries to find its natural equilibrium. But when you get on the Cellerciser in the morning and you move up and down, you activate these one-way valves and they start to pull that circulation and get everything moving again. It's the wake-up call in the morning. So 2 to 3 minutes in the morning, this is my wake-up call. Thyroid, adrenals, endocrine system, the whole thing. Then I do my aerobic activity. Now you can start off just doing it gently. Ligaments, tendons take longer to catch up to muscles, so you start off easy. But in my aerobic activity now, I go about this speed and I count to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I go an entire minute. Sometimes I get 125, 127. And I'm tired when I'm done. So when I'm done, I'll breathe. Just bounce for a few moments. And the whole thing's aerobic. And then I do my calisthenics. Now when I began, I wanted to flatten my stomach and tighten underneath the chin. I didn't have good balance, so I held onto a door jamb. I didn't have a balance bar. Now we have a balance bar. You can hold onto it with both hands. It's right here. And it's adjustable to 3 heights. So I can tilt backwards. Now with a sit-up, we're all familiar with sit-ups, right? It just moves your body weight against gravity. And it just limits the effect only to a certain group of muscles right here, very limited group of muscles. But when you Cellercise, you tilt backwards, all of these muscles tighten up. This is an isometric. It's holding my body up. I want an isotonic. I want to build up the muscle too. Holding onto the balance bar, you can jog, at an angle. It creates more leverage here. Or you can do it this way. This is how I build up my stomach. It's
and he's
not
doing that without a bar. I am so impressed every time he does that without a bar.
Well, but I can put more effort into it when I do have a bar. I can go back further, which leverages more weight. But let me ask you a question. Even though I'm focusing here, is the rest of the body still underweight?
Yep.
That is unique to Cellercising. See, with calisthenics, with yoga, with Pilates and all these different modalities, you are targeting one group of muscles at a time. Cellercising, even though we're targeting one group of muscles, the rest of the cells are also becoming stronger at the same time. And that gives us nearly superhuman strength and balance. We're going to demonstrate that in just a few minutes. And we'll come to it. Anybody have love handles? Anybody love them? Never understood that. Okay. This one here helps to strengthen the waist and the hips. Holding on to the balance bar, I just kick out side to side. And every time I come down, I'm leveraging the weight right there. That's a lot more weight than if I just move my weight against gravity. Lower back and buttocks, you can lean forward, hold on to the balance bar. For my hips, I simply kick back, just like this. Every time I come down, I'm putting the weight right back here. Helps to lift, tighten, and tone the backside. Hips, inner outer thigh, lateral knee. And I'm going to share another exercise routine in a moment. Women who've got rid of cellulite in as little as 2 to 3 weeks doing it, you'll develop a love-hate relationship. We call it the Jamba Run. I'll show that to you in a second. But this is hips, thighs, knees. You step across back and forth just like this, but you add a hop to it. And as you hop side to side, you're working hips, thighs, and the knees. It's the same burn feeling you would have if you were on the slopes. You can actually go skiing on the Cellerciser. And it will greatly to prepare, strengthen the thighs and the knees, or build them up. The second, and the next one I'm going to share with you is the second most important activity I believe we can do. The most important, just get on it and move up and down. Lift the heels up and down. Works the calf muscle. Calf muscle flexes, feeds circulation back up to the heart, helps to reduce edema, swelling, varicose veins. That's the weakest area of circulation from the heart. Cellercising action, and the calf muscles have been called the second heart. So it's the most important for a lot of reasons. The second most important, something that most people are not addressing enough of, digestion, elimination, colon, as well as the intestines. Critical for good health. We absorb most of our nutrients through the intestines. And with all the foods that we are eating today, the processed foods, the additives, the preservatives, the chemicals, we get an inflammation in our intestinal walls. And it creates a mucous membrane lining, trying to protect itself. But in the process, it restricts our ability of the body to absorb nutrients. So here we are eating all these nutrients and our body's not being able to utilize them very effectively. Well, we all know how a washing machine works, right? You throw in the dirty clothes. You turn on the water. What if you forgot to put in the soap and the agitator? Those clothes aren't going to be very clean, are they? But when you throw in the dirty clothes, you throw in the soap, you turn on the washing machine, but not the agitator. Now you've got soap that's going to hit some spots and areas of the clothes to get them clean, but is it going to be very effective? There's your digestive aids. You take the digestive aids and the spot cleans a little bit. What happens when you throw the dirty clothes in, you throw in the soap, you turn on the water, you turn on the agitator, and do you get those clothes clean? We eat every day, don't we, most of us? Every day, I put my intestines through a little washing machine. Just like this. Up and down and side to side. This is what that lady was talking about. This is, I think it's essential. It helps to break up the mucous membrane lining, helps the body absorb nutrients more effectively, takes the liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, and the adrenals and massages them, helps to loosen the lower back. You see people do things like this, but 80% of Americans are told can have problems with the lower back. So this gently loosens up the lower back. You can work the upper back too. And that's the second most, you don't torque, it's gentle. You don't jump up and down, it's just very gentle massage. Okay, now I'm going to show you the Jamba Run. This is one everybody develops a love-hate relationship with. It's very intense. I had a doctor take one look at this movement. He said, David, that's so intense, it'll grow new capillaries. And he's probably right, because that's how you have to get rid of the cellulite. You've got to have circulation to it. And that's basically, it's just white adipose tissue that's lost circulation, and so it creates this, what we call the fat. So we got to get access to it. We need to create heat, energy, and you want to sweat, this one can help you do that. Back. This is very, very, very effective. You see football players do something where they spread their feet apart, they bend at the knee, they lean forward, which takes all the weight off the thigh. The moment you lean forward, you put it on your back. Then they get up on the balls of their feet, and they do this real quick right next to the ground. You ever seen that? Yeah. It's cheating. Because the moment you lean forward, you're taking the weight off the thighs. What are the biggest muscles of the body? Thighs and the buttocks. They have the greatest demand. They give us the fastest results. This helps to kick metabolism up dramatically. I was teaching this for a couple years all over the country, and I dropped down to 3% body fat, and I couldn't figure out why. I was eating 2 dinners at night, and I'm like, what's going on? Well, I'm having fun during the course of a day when I'm doing a show, and I'm up and down showing the Jamba Run. Your metabolism stays high. And the doctors did a full physical on me, said, I've got the metabolism of a 19-year-old. They said, that's just your body type. It didn't used to be. It took me a year or a month. I got off of it, stopped doing the Jamba Run. It took me a month for my rear end to come back. My wife can witness that, but she knows exactly what I went through. Okay, so this one is intense. This is I don't know any aerobic activity or any men, same thing. You got a stomach? Don't do sit-ups. You'll just get strong stomach muscles that nobody can see. You want to get rid of the weight first. Use the big muscles. It'll grab it wherever you've got it. So you keep your feet flat, back straight. You run as fast as you can without lifting your feet up off the mat. You're pushing down into the mat. You won't last 20 seconds without feeling that burn. Just like this. Hold on to the bar. Helps you keep back a little bit. These muscles will eat up the glucose and the sugars in the bloodstream, the most readily available energy, first. And it'll do it quickly. When you're done with the first set, stand there, lift the heels up and down while you catch your breath. Allow the calf muscles and the pumping action to feed oxygen blood flow back to the thighs. And then do it again. The women who got rid of their cellulite in as low as 2 and 3 weeks were doing repetitions of the Jamba Run for almost 20 minutes a night, watching Friends on TV. Okay, we're going to do a quick demonstration. Have I done the strength balance test with you? Come on. Now, if the light bulb hasn't gone on yet, it's about to. Because you can't get this through any other modality of exercise.
I've seen it, but
Oh, okay. What's your name? Oh, no, you can't be. I'm David. Nice to meet you, David. Okay, David, take your feet, spread them apart a little bit. Take a horse stance, Okay, he's ready. Elbows on the side. Have you been on this today?
no.
You got to stand up.
Okay, good. What have you been on? Rebounder?
I know the name of it.
Okay.
My mom had it for my whole life.
All right. Well, that's interesting because we've got a gentleman here who just a second. In fact, my wife's talking to him. What's Crystal?
Yes.
What's your name again?
John.
John. Thank you, John. John, can you tell us what your mom went through with a typical rebounder, or a very good one? And
it was actually one out of Canada. You probably promoted. My mother-in-law in South Africa did kinesiology, which is the balancing of the body, and she actually sold rebounders. Well, anyways, I just got my Cellerciser last week, and she wanted to come over and see it. And there's a lady in her neighborhood, an elderly lady, has the really cheap one. And she was trying to explain to her that, no, it's not even healthy for you. So she took the Cellerciser over to this lady's house and had them side by side. And she said she muscle tested her, like you see that he does. And the lady, failed, and got on her rebounder and just did it for about 35, 45 seconds, got off, and she still failed. And then my mother-in-law had her on it, and she loves the bar, by the way. She said she wished they had that back then. She always said they needed it, because when you're elderly, that's really nice. So she had her on the Cellerciser doing the exact same thing. And when she got off, the lady was rock solid. And she couldn't believe it, because even if you're marketing a product, you don't lie to yourself. People can make up stuff. But she was so blown away how solid she was. And then my mother-in-law started explaining the difference between just an inexpensive rebounder, which really doesn't do and work the body and get the system going the way this does. So this actually strengthens. So yeah, she's going to be my Cellerciser saleswoman because she loves them, and because when it comes to balancing the body, I mean, and this one's off the charts. So she was really impressed by it.
Thank you. You just shared that with me tonight. Okay, thank you. Okay, take a, yep. I'm going to push down. I want you to resist as hard as you can. And feel how hard I push down, and you can see if there's any difference. Okay, ready? Okay. He's competitive. Okay, resist. Now as I push down, and that's good. I have to push pretty hard. Notice how immediately you went to the front of your feet, your toes. Immediately he was compensating for that by moving forward. Let's do it again. Okay, because he is strong. He's doing some things, and 9 out of 10 people fail this, so it's not more than that. Okay, ready? Okay, resist. Now I'm pushing down pretty hard, and he's up and over. Come on up on the Cellerciser. And you felt the give in your arms right there, remember? Okay, I want you to remember that. Now take your hands, put them up on the trapezius muscles. Hold on to the muscles with your fingertips as you're bouncing up and down. He's in pretty good shape. I want you to feel the weight on the muscles. Yeah, every time he comes down, he's putting about 20% additional weight on those muscles, doing over 100 of these a minute. But instead of pushing the weight away from gravity over and over, he's increasing the weight of gravity over and over. And it's not just on these muscles. It's on the entire body collectively. So let's grab the deltoids, the shoulder muscles right here. Squeeze those muscles with your fingertips. Bounce up and down. Can you feel the muscles? Feel them? Flexing? Yeah? Okay. Quite a bit, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. You don't get that kind of dynamic in your normal day-to-day activity, and that helps to open up the rotator cuff and increase circulation in the actual shoulder, which is very important. Okay, now grab the biceps with your fingertips. Squeeze the muscle. Bounce up and down. Feel the weight on the muscle? Yeah, it's all weight bearing. People say, how do you build up a bicep? Put weight on it. Well, how do you do that Cellercising? Balance. It's all weight bearing. You just don't have to target those muscles because you're doing it as cells. Okay, now take your hands, dig them around your waist, dig into the stomach muscles with your fingertips, feel the muscles in there. Feel them flexing? Okay. As he's moving up down, is he favoring one side of the body over the other? Okay, so if you have imbalances in the body, but he's moving them down equally, his hips start to move, muscles start to move to support his natural balance, which is very important. His internal organs are moving up and down, so the connective tissue surrounding him starts to firm up. It's all weight bearing. He's giving himself a facial. He doesn't need it, but the facial muscles have weight on them, and so they become more resistant to the weight as well. And let's go ahead and take a step down and take the same position. And you're going to tell us whether you notice any difference now in your strength and balance compared to what you did last time. Okay, ready? Okay. Resist.
What the heck?
Do you feel the difference? Yeah. You can't argue. Now I'm going to show you something really interesting. David and I are going to jump up on the ground for 20 seconds. We're both going to, and this illustrates what most aerobic impact sports do when you're not in a balanced state. Okay? So I'm going to do it with him. Can I have somebody measure us for 20 seconds? Ready? Tell us when.
Now.
Okay, up and down. We're hitting that hard surface. I want you to kind of jump a little higher, because yeah, there you go, just like that. And as we're hitting a hard surface, we're shattering our nervous system. As we shatter the nervous system, the muscles tense up. They automatically expose any imbalances in the body because of it, because those imbalances are weak areas in the body. Okay, David, I'm going to do it again to you. That wasn't the sign, okay? Try just like you did last time, see if there's any difference. Ready? Resist. I'm just going to push down. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Did you feel it at all? Yeah. Okay. Let's do one more time because I want you to really feel it. He's in pretty good shape. Okay. Ready? Okay. He's trying as hard as he can. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to try hard too. You just do because I'm going to try harder the next time over. Okay, ready? Resist. Now, as I push down, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, I want you to do it to me too. Go ahead. Go ahead, push down.
Yeah, right.
No moving. It's, come on up and Cellerciser for a few moments. Yeah. Because you'll be stronger even then. I've taken bodybuilders, martial artists, yoga instructors, doesn't matter. SWAT teams, SWAT teams need this. If you like to play golf, don't you want to have balance? When you're strong and you're more balanced, it's better on your back, number one, but you're also going to be able to put more effort into the swing. Same thing with baseball. Same thing with tennis. And many people have said, Dr. James White said it helps to improve a tennis stroke. It does. Because it helps improve us in everything we're doing. Very good. How does it feel, by the way?
Different than mine.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, David, very much. I'm going to show you one more. And this is, this you can use, women, when you've had several children, bladder control.
This is me. I have prolapse bladder.
Okay.
And so if I try to jump, it's like...
Right. Yeah. So we want to strengthen the connective tissues. As long as a prolapse uterus is a very common issue, and especially if you've had several children. As long as the tissue hasn't torn, which usually isn't the case, but as long as it hasn't torn, we can help build it back up again. If it's torn, which can be a problem too, then nothing short of surgery is really going to help with that. But the Cellerciser has the ability to help flatten, tighten, and tone all of the supporting muscles in the lower abdomen, both for men and women. And we start off by sitting on it. We support our back with our hands. We start to move up and down just like this. Now, as we get strong enough, we take away our hands. Why am I still moving? It's all being done right here with the stomach muscle. As I get stronger, I can tilt backwards a little bit, which keeps everything, by the way, that way, not just straight up and down. I can lift up a leg, and I put the weight right here in the lower abdomen. When the leg gets tired, you can lift up the other leg. Eventually, you will become strong enough that you can lift up both legs and bounce a little higher. This is all being done right here with the stomach muscle. As you continue to get stronger, then you can go cheek to cheek. And now you're working the obliques, both sides of the stomach wall, or in and out, up and down. And I don't know, in fact, I turned down nearly half a dozen infomercials to do this Cellerciser because I wouldn't compromise the integrity of the product. See, there are lots of mini trampolines and rebounders on the market. I wouldn't put mine on television or my message on television because they wanted to make a cheaper unit. I said, the reason this works is because of the way it's built, and I wouldn't compromise it. I found Darren Hogue in Q Sciences to be the exact same way. We worked together for 2 years. We got to know each other 2 years ago before he even started Q Sciences. I've watched him very carefully. And over the course of those 2 years of watching Darren, watching how he runs his company, continuing to correspond with him, I said, hey, I realized I need to get this information out to more people. I don't want to compromise the integrity of the unit by doing an infomercial. And so I was grateful when I was able to join and work with Q Sciences. And you've got a great product, you've got a great program, you've got a great team of people. When we're one great big family, and we're going to make a difference. So if there's any questions, let me ask. I'd be happy to go ahead.
If someone buys a Cellerciser, is there a DVD of
Yes.
the presentation
I'm so
of
glad.
all these exercises?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes, we have the Cellerciser comes. She's saying what comes with the Cellerciser basically. The Cellerciser comes with a Cellerciser, a carrying case, and we have a half fold and a tri-fold. Half fold's a little less. You got carrying case. It comes with a book, a booklet, a DVD, an exercise chart, everything you need to get started. Darren, do we have that DVD?
We have it here, yes.
Nip, can I show it to him? I want to show that to him. And all of the basics that you need to do your program, you will have there. Now, if you want to do more advanced techniques, like the natural facelift, or tightening underneath the chin, or opening up the bronchial tubes in the lungs and the larynx, you hear my voice right now? Listen to this. This is all featured on a more advanced DVD, which we sell for $40, and which through Q Sciences you can get for just $19.95. This is 2 hours worth of information. It's more specific to what your particular interests or needs might be. If you have knee, it addresses knee problems, hip problems, back problems, digestion, elimination issues, weight loss issues, tightening and toning, again, the natural facelift, and opening up bronchial tubes and lungs. And I just want you to listen to my voice when I'm done with this. Most people only use the first 2/3 of their lung. This is a technique I designed several years ago to help open up the bronchial tubes in the lungs, and you got to approach it gently because the lungs can be irritated. And when you first start to do this, when I first started to do this, it was because they were painting my car, and I walked in when they were standing it, and all the dust was in the air. I didn't have one of the masks on, but I was talking to the person. I got home, and my lungs felt, I could feel that in my lungs. I didn't want that there, so I wanted to clear them out. So I started to do this, and I'll tell you the story, but it goes, and it works. But you stand on the mat, stand up, breathe in, come down, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Listen to my voice when I'm done. Can you hear any difference?
Yes.
All right. That movement opens up diaphragmatic breathing or supports. I have singers, performers that are doing it on stage. They'll do this before they go out and sing in competitions and for performances. Radio announcers will do the same thing. When you first start to do it, your lungs will sound a little wheezy, but within about 2 to 3 weeks, they don't. They'll sound clear. They just have a whole different sound. Yes?
I don't mean to interrupt, but if anybody needs product, they're going to get ready to shut down here in just a minute. So if you need product, you got a few minutes.
How many IBOs are in the audience still? Raise your hand. You have just
Wow.
witnessed a new market. Pay attention. Singers, performers, pay attention.
You're
He
right.
just gave you another lead.
Doctors, chiropractors, health practitioners, you have no limited market. Everybody needs Cellercising. Everybody does. And senior citizens have specific issues. And we address those specific issues. They're a little different. We talked about some of that on here. This DVD has a newer presentation than the one that comes with the Cellerciser. It also has a drop-down personal trainer menu that gives you specific movements based upon what your goals and objectives are.
For different parts of your body.
That's right. Yep, even though the rest of the body. Now, why are you so much stronger when you Cellercise? Because the whole body is expanding and contracting collectively. When you jump up and down on a hard surface, it doesn't affect me. It affected Dave just a little bit. It will affect most of you a lot because the body's not strong in a balanced state yet. But after about 3 months of Cellercising, you become very strong even when you hit a hard surface. Doesn't matter. Because the body has gotten used to it's gotten stronger because you've exercised it in a balanced state. Any other questions I can answer? Yes, David.
Well, let me preface with a comment here. I first saw you a couple of weeks ago at a Saturday training.
Oh, very good.
I'd never heard you before. I grew up with a knockoff of one of these under my parents' piano in our home.
Sure.
And it actually had a little upholstered thing you put on.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Made you look like a little dice, you know.
Was that a Sundancer?
I'm not sure what the brand
That
is.
was one of the better units for its day.
Yeah, for its day. So it's interesting. I listened to what you said, and that day, which you spoke maybe a half an hour then, and it's been an hour and 50 minutes since you started now. No, an hour and 20, sorry.
Thank you.
And as a doctor, I've listened very carefully to everything that you've said. And he's kind of an information machine gun, if you've noticed. His speed of delivery is very fast. There's been a lot of downloaded information here. And I have a brother who's also a doctor, and we've discussed what you shared that first night as well. He's also here in the room tonight.
Oh, terrific.
And so we're watching very carefully and listening very carefully. I have not caught one thing that David has said that is not true to my knowledge. Except there was a comment afterwards when you were talking to somebody who had a question about discs and back injuries.
Imbibing discs, yeah.
Imbibition. I was impressed you even knew the word imbibition. And you had said that it sucks the synovial fluid back into the disc. It was the only mistake I've ever caught him saying. Because it's not synovial fluid, it's nucleus pulposus that goes in there. There is no synovial fluid. But that's the only thing I've ever heard you say that was not correct or true.
Thank you.
Now come out of your mouth correct, I'll bet you.
Now, to add to that, I've always taught my patients that it's not true you are what you eat. You are what you absorb. And what you said is very true here with this little washing machine thing. So, I went and I dragged my mom's old knockoff out from under the piano, and started using it, I think, Tuesday of last week. And we came here last Wednesday, not knowing you weren't going to do it.
Oh.
So, because we wanted to hear the information. And so we're back tonight, but I've been using it every day since then, the one that I've had.
Sure.
And it's been really interesting to notice the changes that I'm experiencing in my body. So I did my 10 minutes this morning, and that may be why I'm different than the average, because I'm sure you've tested thousands of people with that.
Sure.
But since then, I've got almost 20 questions here that I want to run by you, and we'll have to do that when you have some time and it's appropriate. But
Good.
very impressive.
Appreciate that. Be careful doing my exercises on the typical rebound. That's my dad did that. He put a bone fragment through a nerve in his lower back. And that's yes.
Come back to the hip joint replacement.
Hip joint. Good.
That person.
Osteoblast activity around an appliance has been a problem with those implants. And medication, they've used medication and whatnot to try to help slow that down. When you're cellercising, we have a gentleman who had 2 hip replacements. He still cellercises and he still skis. So depending upon the kind of movement you have, the cellercises, we want to strengthen the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint, and then we want to create a weight-bearing activity to maintain osteoblastic activity. And the bones need the weight-bearing activity. They don't need jar. And when we get an appliance, the body becomes more dependent upon the appliance, and right around the appliance, it's very common for the bone to actually continue to deteriorate. So we don't want that.
Well, my understanding is that the appliance, or the prosthetic implant, is down in the bone, and the bone gradually fills in more and more around it, strengthening it.
Actually,
if that's the case, would this help?
This will help to strengthen it, but what ends up happening generally is that the appliance itself takes the place of the body's perception or need for a strong bone in that area. Okay, so
well, even though there's the bone and the appliance is
right, but the appliance is absorbing the weight. The appliance, the bone itself, is not perceiving the increase of weight because the appliance is instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've
so
spent a week since my surgery.
Mm-hmm.
What could I do on this that would be beneficial?
I would say
because there are a lot of people that have joint
I know.
replacements.
I deal with them all the time.
Yeah, so that's another market maybe.
That's a great question. And what I need to do, because it's a medical question, is I have to say consult with your doctor or have your doctor give me a call. But this is what I would show your doctor. Or explain to him. Just bending at the knee, we want to work the front part of the knee and the lateral side, both sides of the knee. Working the front part of the knee, we just bend slightly, and if you can walk on the ground, this is easier than walking on the ground. But as we're gently moving like this, we're going to start to first strengthen up the supporting muscles and ligaments, help reduce scar tissue and increase circulation, which is critical. Then we want to work the lateral knee. So now as this gets stronger, you can go a little faster. Okay, as you go a little faster,
now this is whether you had a knee replacement or a hip replacement.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm dealing knee. Now they're all specific. You're dealing with knee, right?
No,
hip.
Sorry. Hip. Okay. Start off gently like this. Okay. Then as we.
Far apart.
I wish. Yeah. Just gently like this. Then bend at the knee. And start to rock side to side. Like this. As you're rocking side to side, you can actually take your fingers, put them directly into your muscles here, and you're going to feel a lot of circulation and flexing in those muscles, which is how we build them up, which is what we want to do. We want to strengthen that support area first. Then, as we've done this, and this can take a period of time, everybody's different, then we can start to step across. Now we're putting more weight and strengthening it more. And it's very easy on the hip, and then eventually you can take it to the next level. I had a lady who was at one of my programs, and we'll talk about this one, she was in a walker, and she came by when I was lecturing, or I was talking to a group of people. Did you hear this? She was in a walker, and I invited her to come up on the Cellercising. She says, "Oh, I can't do that." I said, "Okay." So I continued to work with the people that were there, and then 10 minutes later, I look over, she's still standing there, and she won't leave, she's watching. I said, "Are you sure you would not want to come up here?" Well, she's heard me work with other people, and now she said, "Yes, I'd like to try that." So I helped her get up on the Cellerciser. I used my arm for a balance bar. And I said, "Okay, what I want you to do is, now, I had 2 units at the time. I had this unit and 2 units on the side. I had her get on the unit with the balance bar. So I had her get up on the balance bar. She held on to the balance bar, and I said, I want you to rock side to side, just like this. And she said, oh, I can't do that. I said, okay, let's go backwards then. I want you to stand here and just gently bounce like this, because that's massaging all the tissue throughout the whole body. And so she's doing this for a few minutes, or probably about 5 minutes, and I'm talking to the other people. I look back over, and now she's holding onto the bar, and now she's going like this. And she's got this blank look on her face. Just like this. I thought, oh, good, she's doing it. So I didn't think anything of it. A year goes by. I go back to the same program. I've got my Cellerciser here. I've got my units on both sides. And I'm talking to the people before I'm going to be lecturing. And this lady, a year later, lady parts away and comes up to me and says, can I get on that? The other 2 were empty. I said, sure. So I step down so she can get on it. And she gets on this and she starts to do this movement here. And then she starts to run like this. And then she starts to kick out like this. She's going through the whole routine. She's going all of the different movements.
Yeah,
and then
she's got an artificial joint of some sort.
Then she sits down and she starts to bounce like this. And she gets up here and she's bouncing in and out and doing all these different movements. And she stands up and we all clap and say, well, you know the routine? And she said, you don't remember me, do you? I said, no, I don't. She says, I was a lady last year, I had a degenerative hip. You've given me a whole new lease on life. I said, would you be willing to share that on stage when I spoke in front of 3,000 people? She did. Wow. Yeah. So it's and that's one of many stories like that. Okay, we're done.
You have a young one that had a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
So I have signed up for a weightlifting class next year, sports aerobics, as they call it. And would you suggest doing that? Because I'm kind of deciding if I should or shouldn't.
Okay, it's a sport. It's not, and you'll build up bulk. But if you're going to do it, here's how I would suggest doing it.
At his young age.
Uh-huh.
How old are you?
Okay. They did a study at National Aerobics Institute, Seattle, Washington, under the direction of Dr. Larry Getman, PhD. And in that study, they showed that if you incorporated just 30 seconds of Cellercising in between each station, so you're working one station doing your exercise, get on the Cellerciser for 30 seconds and just kind of run and bounce, because it creates balance and strength in the body, gets rid of the lactic acid, increases circulation, then you'll be stronger. Lift your weight again. On the next station, do it again before you go to the next station. They showed in this study that the people that incorporated 30 seconds of Cellercising in between a weight station or the weightlifting program grew in results, this is enormous, up to 26% faster than the people who did.
So be efficient. Be efficient with your workout.
So, could I just do that on the ground if I don't have one my next year?
No, the ground is jarring. It will not help you at all.
I'll start saving now.
The 3 heights for the bar.
Yes.
Is that specific to exercises, or just how do we know where to put it?
Well, put it where most people are just going to put it where you work out.
Okay.
If there's somebody who's in a wheelchair and they can't stand up, they can hold on to the side, or you can lower it so they can pull themselves up and down as well, and they're getting the movement. We've helped people with multiple sclerosis get out of wheelchairs.
David,
yes?
really quick, my younger sister deals with MS that started with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, all of that. She is so thrilled. She started out 30 ounces. Within 4 days, she was up to 100. And is so thrilled, especially because Q96 clears all the brain fog. She's already been on it for over 6 months. And this is the other missing link for her balance and her abilities. It's incredible.
Stimulates up to 90% of brain activity. It's enormous. But you do just
show that DVD, or we're out of time, or?
No, I couldn't show that to you.
2 hours long.
Yeah, it's got 2 hours worth of information. This lady here says, I've had MS for 25 years and use a walker, but for the last 8 months I've had to use a wheelchair because of excruciating knee pain. When I was introduced to the Cellerciser, I could not get on and off it without help. Starting off with 3 to 5 minutes, within 2 weeks I was able to go 10 minutes and get on by myself, but had help getting off. Now after 3 months, I can get on and off with no help. Actually, she capitalizes that. Circulation was so bad in my feet, they were dark purple with much swelling and pain. Now swelling is gone. I feel, and my feet are a healthy pink color with very little pain. Overall, I feel so good. This is the only piece of exercise equipment that I've been able to use, and I've tried many for the first time. I am seeing a reversal of the effects of MS. She's the one who said it. I'm so grateful to the Cellerciser and expect continued results as I bounce away. Sincerely, Mary Knight. So, yes, there's so many.
Did you know anybody with type 2 diabetes?
Yes.
I discovered the Cellerciser 3 years ago. I injured my back for about a year on a cheap Walmart trampoline. I said, I'll never do that.
Not worth it, yeah.
Until I saw your presentation. When I saw it, I bought one the next day, and my husband was already in the hospital with advanced arterial disease, lost a leg, is now home and recuperating, but had we known, I wish I had known about this about a year ago, but we're saving the other leg. And in just the 2 weeks he's been home from the hospital, he's been bouncing on just the one leg, and already the neuropathy, which was so painful, and the cold feet, is now, he no longer has to worry about trying to get spots, trying to keep his feet warm on the one leg he has left. We're convinced he will not lose that leg because of this program. But I'll tell you what, anybody with type 2 diabetes and circulation problems and neuropathy, they should have one yesterday.
Thank you. Dr. Robert Young wrote about me in his book, The PH Miracle and Diabetes, and it's on the Cellerciser. Yeah.
Just, you don't have to answer because time is short, but if...
oh no, have him answer it. This is being recorded. This is invaluable, what he's doing.
Well, I have knees that have almost no cartilage left, so I can't bend them real well, and I have trouble getting up. So, in the video, or the DVD, does this show people with knee problems and what would be...
Yeah, I address the issues and spreading the feet apart again, just doing what I mentioned. We end up with so many joint problems because of weaknesses or injury in the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joint. The joints can't support themselves. The skeletal system can't support itself. It's dependent upon the muscles and the ligaments to help support it. When they're compromised, we get more pressure on the joint, and we lose circulation to that joint area. That's when we begin to wear down the actual pad, cartilage, etc. in there. So we're on a Cellerciser. We bend the knee. We want to start to restructure and strengthen the supporting muscle ligaments around the knee. There's a testimony I read last night when I was on, it's like a Skype program for Idaho. And we talked about a gentleman who I met who was a semi-professional athlete in the 70s. And he won numerous awards in the 70s. But when I met him, his knees, his muscles, his joints were a mess. He wasn't competing anymore. And I talked to him about structuring and strengthening the supporting muscles and ligaments around the joints. And he started to do my program. Within 3.5 months, he goes out for the Senior Games pentathlon. And he wins first place in all of North America. He's considered the best on the continent. In his 60s, the coach leg press is 885 pounds. In his 60s. He writes me a testimonial, David, it's been miraculous, the positive influence that your trampoline has had on my body. I've spent thousands on supplements the past 15 years. I've tried every strength, body stretching routine available, and nothing has worked like your tramp, we're not supposed to say that word here, to help me get my joint and muscle health back. Helen and I are sold on what you've created. Robert Chen. Great testimonial. All of his awards. The guy was a very prolific athlete. So, what can I say? The cells are stronger and healthier and working more efficiently. Your body parts and functions are going to be stronger, healthier, and working more efficiently. Our objective is to help you enjoy a better quality of life.
And thank you for going on film about this. Do you know how many family members now can hear David directly and they don't have to think it's me talking, it's him?
Yeah. If you know anybody, again, with knee problems, back problems, digestion, elimination, circulation, bring doctors, therapists, it doesn't matter, bring them to these programs so we can get the message, the information out. There is nothing that I have ever experienced that can give the kind of results that Cellerciser can.
There's a blood condition called lymphoma. It can help with that, can't it?
It opens up the lymphatic system to increase circulation. Yeah, again, you want, here's another one. That's a good question. If you get on another statement by Dr. Arthur C. Guidey, you get on a Cellerciser and you run as fast as you can for 1 minute. Just, if you work up to it. Everybody should be a little bit different. But you go as fast as you can for about a minute. you can increase the number of active white blood cells in your body by 10 to 15 times. And they'll stay there for up to 1 hour. That's like every morning giving yourself your own natural antibiotic. Wonderful material. Thank you again. Thank you all. Well, we talked. Yeah. You know, I believe, based upon, I don't know, this